there was a lull in the shell, and we were piled into Gaza. It was the Free Syrian Army it was a last ditch, because they had wounded of their own to get out. They knew we were in a bad shape. Edith was deteriorating, and it was a last ditch attempt. It was a proper American helicopter out the embassy type of, we got one shot at this. So they threw us into vehicles, drove across the city. There was a lot of sniping. There were still shells going off. They got us to the escape place. Half of us got out, and then the government attacked and shot a lot of people on the escape route, including the Spanish journalist. He was shot, but not fatally. But a lot of people lost their lives. I was in a room, and they just started piling bodies in. People shot through the head. You know, I can only say that the people who got us out of Babarama were, I mean, every person in there is a hero, but these people especially put their lives on the line. And you know, I can only say the biggest thanks to the Syrian people. And this is about the Syrian people. You know, we left behind what I fear is going to be the next Rwanda, the next Srebrenica. It's systematic destruction. And the major problem being, in Babarama they had a system of reporting. We've seen in other towns like Hama and Dera and everything on that route, there are no cameras. There is no communication. That you cannot talk to the next town. And once Babarama is finished, which I think it's almost there now, we've watched it happen. They're going to move on, and they're going to move into the countryside, the towns, and there will be no witnesses. This is the most important point. This isn't finished because Babarama has fallen. The regime now can move and do effectively what they like. And those women, children, old men, young people will just cease to exist. They will cease to exist, and in 10 years we'll have an investigation, and people will say, how did this happen? And there'll be investigations, but the time for talking, I don't know what they'll do, but the time for talking is over. Somebody must act, because we're not going to see the next phase. The next phase will not be televised, but it will be happening.
Because people like you will not be there.
People like, exactly, the activists that won't be there because they're all going to die in the next few days. There will not be any witnesses.
Just a final thought, which is about yourself. Have you got all the bits of shrapnel out of you?
I think there's a few bits still in there, but they're not going to chase them. They reckon they'll eventually pop out on their own one day, and I'll be able to a pair of tweezers or something. I don't know how it comes out.
You've got a souvenir beside your bed, I
yeah, this is a present from probably from the Russians, this one. And you know, really, Syrians had the unfortunate situation where they happened to be under siege during Putin's election campaign, and now that he's just got back in, apparently he's going to do all he can to help the poor people of Babarama.
And just a final thought, you must think a lot about Marie.
Yeah, I mean, extremely close friend, a journalist who worked to a standard that is unsurpassed. I don't know anyone who had the tenacity, the bravery, all in one package. She would not let go. And this is why, you know, I've really got to tell this. She was the best of the best, and I worked all last year in Libya with her. We worked in Iraq 10 years ago together, and, you know, the world, we've all lost a good friend, and one of the best has been taken from us. And I salute her, and I'll go back and get her when the time's right. Bring her home.